Now today, I'm going to share with you how nothing will change unless you change. Now, I don't mean to sound so harsh with that title, but the truth is, someone had to be that harsh with me years ago. Hey, I'm Terry Savelle Foy, your cheerleader of dreams. Let me ask you, are you ready for God to do a new thing in your life? Are you tired of repeating the same scenario year after year? Have you thought lately, how do I stay positive when it appears nothing is changing? Now, if you answered yes to any of those questions, I have one word for you that drastically changed my entire life. Routine. The secret of your future is hidden in your daily routine. So if you'll change your routine, I'm telling you, you'll change your whole life. Well, one of the biggest and easiest changes that I made to my daily routine was listening to inspirational messages that pointed my life in the right direction. So I want to ask you to subscribe to this podcast by pushing the little red arrow so you start a routine of consistent inspiration and coaching to help you live your dreams. Now today, I'm going to share with you how nothing will change unless you change. Now, I don't mean to sound so harsh with that title, but the truth is, someone had to be that harsh with me years ago. Back in 2002, when I hit rock bottom, I heard someone say, God will change your circumstances, but He'll change you first. Well, that's when I started taking steps to get out of the rut I was in and truly transform my life. In fact, before I finish today, I want to give you the entire 7-step checklist for success, so don't leave you with just one step in today's podcast. I'm going to show you how to access that free checklist in just a minute, but first, Joel Osteen said this. He said, too many people suffer from destination disease. They reach a certain level and just want to coast on what they already know. Well, studies show 50% of people, after they graduate from high school, will never read an entire book again. 50%. They say the average person only uses 11% of their brain. That's embarrassing. Well, one reason is we see learning as a period of life instead of just a way of life. You may have heard me say that one of the dumbest things I ever said after I graduated from Texas Tech University was I made the announcement I will never study again. Well, the truth is my life showed that for over a decade. I never studied again and nothing in my life grew. Well, I thought, I don't need to grow anymore. You tend to think I have a job. I don't need to keep learning. Well, because I stopped learning, everything stopped. So whether you're 9 or 90, we should constantly be learning, improving our skills, and staying curious, right? So what steps are you taking to get better? Are you reading books, listening to audios, subscribing to podcasts? Have you enrolled in a course lately? Do you have any mentors? I want to encourage you to never stop learning new things. Recently I heard this story about a guy named Cliff who's a lawyer. And one Saturday afternoon, he's out grilling burgers. August 2004, and I just happen to have a burger here. He says he's wearing shorts and a t-shirt, his phone goes off, and it's Entrepreneur Magazine. Now, he said he had written an article for them before, but that was about it. Well, he picks up the phone, and it was the managing editor for Entrepreneur Magazine in a panic. She said, "Thank God you picked up the phone." She said, "I need your help." And then she went on to say, "You're probably the only person who can help me with this. I need you on a panel discussion in New Orleans on Monday." Now, this is Saturday. He's just out grilling his burgers. He said, "What's going on?" Well, Entrepreneur was doing a feature on eBay for sellers called eBay Entrepreneurs. They had like 50 million sellers back then. Well, they were going to launch the magazine at eBay's annual trade show in New Orleans, and they wanted this all-star panel. Michael Gerber, Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad author, the eBay for Dummies author, and they needed someone to discuss the legal and tax issues for eBay sellers. So they said, people have questions and we don't know how to answer them. She said, "Cliff, can you do this for us?" Well, keep in mind, Cliff had never sold a single thing on eBay in his life. eBay lawyer? He's like, "I don't even have a clue about this." She said, "It's only about 5 to 10 minutes, maybe a few slides." He thought to himself, if all you need from me is a 5 to 10 minute presentation and 2 to 3 slides, I can talk about physics. So he said yes. She said, "You're my angel, Cliff. Thank you." Then she said, "Oh, we need the slides tonight. We have to get it all set up. You're my hero. Click." He's standing there grilling his burgers going, what in the world did I just commit to? Selling online. He's thinking, what do I do? Well, he said, as he continues making his dinner, he starts thinking, selling online sales tax. They probably don't know that once they're selling so much, it becomes more than a hobby. It becomes a business. Well, while he continues grilling, he had about 15 ideas for slides. So he wrote all of his ideas down that night. Flew out the next day. Monday morning, he spoke to about 5,000 people in New Orleans. When he got off the podium, he was surrounded by the eBay corporate team saying, "You are fantastic. We are desperate for someone like you. We need a guy to talk about legal and tax stuff, and we don't know how to answer them." So he went home, bought every book on eBay he could find, just immersed himself in it. Afterwards, he got a regular gig with eBay, one Saturday each month in a different city, doing a 90-minute PowerPoint. He would go to a top-notch dinner. He was paid $10,000 per speech, plus expenses covered. He was basically given a $120,000 contract on the spot. Now, fast forward 1 year. He gets off the stage after doing his presentation, meets this elegantly dressed woman who wasn't there just for eBay. She was the senior editor of a major publishing company. She asked him to write a book on this topic. Are you ready for this? He's now the world's leading authority on legal and tax issues of selling on eBay. He's since written 5 books on the topic. All because on a hot summer day, while he's grilling burgers, he picked up a call offering him something he knew nothing about, but he decided to change. He decided to stay curious, to grow, to learn. So, how do you change yourself? Number 1, be intentional about your personal growth. Make it one of your top 10 goals for this year. You know, John Maxwell says, next to my faith, developing a plan for personal growth is the greatest decision I ever made. Number 2, enroll in courses. Take a course that will push you and challenge you and keep you accountable to grow. You know, we have courses you can look into. Bob Proctor says, take every course you possibly can in your field. He said the person teaching you has developed this over years and years to give it to you in a matter of weeks or months. Thousands of hours of work they put into it that you can learn in like 1 or 2 days. You know, people say, I can't afford this stuff. The truth is we can't afford not to invest in ourselves. And number 3, set a goal to read a certain number of books each year. You know, I always set a goal to read 12 to 15 books a year. That means just turn off the TV and just read in your field. Read the best-selling books because they contain a wealth of wisdom. And then my 4th tip is set a timer, like on your daily planner to read each day. I always set a goal to read 20 minutes every morning before I even go to the office. What I'm saying is you owe it to yourself to develop what God has put in you. You should always be able to look back at last year at this time and say with confidence, I am not who I used to be. Now, before we close out, I want to recognize the YouTube subscriber of the week. This week is a girl named Kimberly Cooper. This is what Kimberly writes. Terry, you inspire me every day to dream, imagine big, and take action in my life. You truly are a cheerleader of dreams. She said, P.S. I was a cheerleader in high school as well and have sweet memories of that time. So glad I found your inspirational and refreshing ministry. Kimberly Cooper, you speak my language. I love it. And thank you for connecting with me, subscribing, and being encouraged to keep going after the dreams that God's put in your heart. And I want to remind all of you that I am cheering you on to live your dreams. I want to give you the entire 7-step checklist for success that I've practiced in my life and learned from the most successful people in the world. So all you have to do is click the link in the description or go to terry.com/7steps to get your free 7-step checklist. Now, this free download that you can access today will become your go-to list to keep you on track to your dreams. And for more consistent motivation, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. You can find my handles below, or click the little red subscribe button for weekly videos to make this your best year yet. Thanks for watching, and remember, I'm cheering you on.